and many more who were injured and maimed as they protested in peace against the grave injustices that were imposed upon them. Bao ba maloko a bao ba re sileng ha ke ba tadima mahlong ke bone hore bohloko bono bo ntse bo le teng la eba dikeledi di a rotha empa ne ke bona hore ka nnete bohloko bo ntse bo le teng ntho ena e ileng ya ba hlahela ka 1960 We still recall how every black South African, colored and Indian was denied the basic human rights to which they were entitled. We recall how many generations of black South Africans were denied the right to life and dignity, the right to equal treatment, the right to vote, and the right to be heard, the right to live where they wanted to work, in any trade they wanted to work in. How they were also denied the right to education and healthcare, and the right to the protection of the law. So we gather here in Sharpville on this day so that we may pay tribute to those who fought for the rights that we hold so dear today, so that we may remember the severe hardships they endured and the great sacrifices that they made. Kaobane rimona kachekulena ka lebaka la bao ba ileng ba hlokahala ba thuntswa ke maburu hona mona Sharpville. Re mona ka hobane bona ba ile ba nela ka maphelo a bona. Re mona ka hobane ba ile ba ema ka maoto ba re ba no amohela dipasi tsena tsene ba batla hore re di tshware ka nako tsohle. Re mona ka hobane bona ba ile ba re re tla lwanela setjhaba. Re a ba leboha, re a ba hlompha. We also gather here so that we may trace our journey as a nation over the last 64 years, from a state of discrimination and repression to a land of democracy and freedom. Ours was a journey of relentless struggle, a struggle that was also supported by many people around the world. As we remember those who sacrificed in our own country, so must we remember those who sacrificed their lives and their freedom in other countries as well in support of our struggle. Some were arrested and they spent days and even years in jail. Some were killed by the bombs of the apartheid regime, and many other people suffered so that we can be free. It was a difficult and dangerous journey that was traveled by Ke a leboha. A re tswelleng pele. A re tswelleng pele. Ka hobane ba re ho na le pula e kgolo e tlang. Nna ke etse ka potlako ka hobane pula e tla. So there were many activists, union organizers, many traditional leaders, as well as religious groupings, as well as freedom fighters, the underground operatives, political prisoners, and those who were in exiles who supported our struggle. It was a struggle that sought above all to achieve a South Africa which belongs to all who live in it, black and white. It was a struggle to realize the rights contained in the Bill of Rights adopted in 1923 by the African National Congress, which called for equal treatment of all people, equal access to land, direct representation and voting rights. As early as 1923, that's what the ANC called for. It was a struggle to give effect to the demands of the African claims of 1943 for the granting of full citizenship, rights, and justice for all. Ours was a struggle to realize the vision of the Freedom Charter that was adopted by the Congress of the People in 1955, of a South Africa that is prosperous and free, and in which all enjoy equal rights and opportunities. It was these principles and these ideals, these struggles and these sacrifices that enabled the achievement of our democracy and the adoption of the Bill of Rights that is at the center of our democratic constitution. It was therefore fitting in 1996 that President Nelson Mandela should come here to Sharpville to sign our new constitution into law on the 10th of December 1996. Hantle lona batho ba mona ke lona beng ba constitution yena. Constitution yena ke a lona. Ho feta batho bohle ka hobane President wa rona wa ho qala o ile a re molaotheo ona o batla ho signa hona mona Sharpville mo ileng ha etseha ntho e sehloho. So this constitution is then inscribed in your hearts and minds, you the people of Sharpville. This is your constitution. Selemong sena, this year we celebrate 30 years of freedom. And as we celebrate this milestone, we will reflect on the journey that we have taken towards the full realization of the fundamental freedoms contained in our Bill of Rights. Re hopole hore, before this Bill of Rights, which is in our Constitution, the majority of us did not have any rights whatsoever. And these rights that we now have, contained in our Bill of Rights in the Constitution, are rights that we must cherish, are rights that we must protect, and are rights that we must always extend. We will count the elections that we have held every 5 years since 1994 elections that have been peaceful, free and fair, and that have reflected the will of the people. Ka di 29 tsa May, re ya dikgethong hape. Ke nako eo lona batho ba mona le South Africa kaofela mo re tlameileng hore tokelo ena ya rona ya ho vouta re lo e sebedisa hore mang le mang a bone hore rona re le batho ba mona South Africa re na le tokelo ya ka di 29 tsa May. Ke letsatsi leo le re tshwanetseng hore re ilo sebedisa tokelo ena e re nang le yona ya ho lo vouta re kenye mmuso o motjha o tla isa mosebetsi ona o re o qadileng pele. Ke kopa hore ha ilo vouta le voute hantle mang le mang a ba a nahanne ka tsela e nepahetseng. Re kopana mona in Sharpville on this day so that, yes, we may be able to say, yes, we have now won our rights following the struggle that was waged by many who suffered immensely. And as we celebrate this milestone, yes, we do reflect on the journey that we have traversed to ensure that the rights that we have are advanced. We will assess the institutions that make our laws, that both represent the views and regularly seek to advance the rights of all of us. We will point to the independence of our judiciary, the vibrancy of our civil society, the activism of our trade union movement, and the freedom of our media. We will list the discriminatory oppressive laws that we scrapped and the progressive legislation that we have introduced to transform our society. As we celebrate 30 years of freedom, we will reflect on the progress we have made with regard to social and economic rights that are contained in our Constitution. We do have much to celebrate. Kaubani, South Africa e re phelang ho yona kajeko lena, a e sa tshwana le South Africa ele ya pele ho 1994. Ntho ka nnete di fetohile. Ba rata kapa ba rate, ba na le ditsebe kapa ba na ditsebe, ba na le mahlo kapa ba na ona, dintho di fetohile ka nnete. Many of our people in South Africa have been lifted out of poverty. They were defined and relegated to poverty as a result of the apartheid system and colonialism that deliberately dispossessed them, that took their assets that could have been passed on to various generations in the various families. Once those assets had been taken away, land, livestock, and once opportunities were deprived, it resulted in poverty. And in the end, all that could be passed on down the line was generational poverty from generation to generation. And this is what the democratic government has had to be dealing with over the past 30 years to reduce poverty, have proper housing. That was not the case under apartheid. 9 out of every 10 homes now have electricity. That was not the case under apartheid. And I often say many of our people were load shared permanently at that stage under apartheid. And now, even as we are dealing with load shedding, we know what a load shedding will be solved and it will come to an end because we've got a clear intention to do so. 9 out of every 10 homes now also have access to clean running water. Some are dying in childbirth, and far fewer children are dying in infancy. More children from poor families are completing school, passing matric and going on to study at colleges and universities. This has been made possible because we have, as a country, focused on correcting the injustices of the past and meeting the needs. Premier wa rona bua a re ka April ho tlo etsahala mohlolo, ho tlo ba le mosebetsi o moholo wa ho etsa hore bao ba batlang ho fumana mmuso ona wa rona wa democracy, mmuso o sa kgethollweng, mmuso o reng ha o sheba batho kaofela, mmuso wane wa mane mong o ile a tla a tshwere tokomane a re ba tlo mpha tokomane ya mo lefatshe le ileng la nkiwa ho bona. Mmuso ona o leka o itlhile wa lokisa ntho tseo tse mpe tsena di etsahala. We have provided the social grants for children, the elderly, the people with disability, and have also gone a long way also to ensure hore le di grant tsena tsene re di kentse haholo-holo ho batho ba sa sebetseng, yona ena e le tsebang haholo e ya 350 se ilo nyollwa jwale, ilo nyollwa jwale. Jwale mamelang, ke tlamehile hore ke qete ka hobane pula e tla. Jwale la hopola he ditokelo tsena tse re di kentseng setjhabeng, bongata ba tsona ne di siyo. Ntho ena ya di grante le di pension tsa bonkgono ba ne ba e fumana hangwe ka morao ha dikgwedi tse tharo, ba ne ba fumana e nyanenyana. Kima e kana. Jwale President Nelson Mandela o ile a re ha kena mmusong a ba re di tlo lekana ho batho bohle, and ha ba jwalo. Pension eno ya bonkgono le yona ilo nyollwa, ilo ya hodimo hore bonkgono ba rona ba phele beterenyana. La hopola he bao ba ne ba kena sekolo ka nako tseno le nna, no re ha o ya sekolong o ya o tshwere ke tlala, o kena sekolo o tshwere ke tlala, o sa utlwi le ntho e ne o rutwa yona. O tswa sekolong o tshwere ke tlala, hono kaofela, that all may enjoy equal protection and equal benefits of those rights. We must also strive together so that transform our economy so that all people may participate in our economy and may also benefit from this economy. This means that we must continue to implement the policies of broad-based Black economic empowerment to support small businesses and Black industrialists, to promote employment equity, to use public and private procurement to empower those who were previously disadvantaged. Ha ke bua ka employment equity, ke bua le ka hore ha mogolo o fapana bo hare ha bo mme le bo ntate ba etsa mosebetsi o tshwanang, re batla hore molao o etse hore megolo ya bo mme le bo ntate ba etsa mosebetsi o tshwanang e lekane megolo yeno, ho ska ba le hore banna bona ba tla hola e ka hodimo ha ba etsa mosebetsi o tshwanang. It means we must accelerate, yes, our land reform and provide emerging farmers with the resources that they need. We must build more of an equal society so that all people of working age must have an opportunity for decent work. Hona le bao ba ntse ba tshoha ba re re shebile fela bara ba na le dilemo tsa 15 na re batla hore ba fumane mesebetsi ba tshwane kaofela. Re tshwanetse re etse mesebetsi, re ahe mesebetsi ka tsela e kgolo ka hobane bongata ba batho ba rona a ba sebetse. La ke sheba mona ke a tseba hore bongata ba lona le sebetsi, le tshepa hore mmuso ona wa lona o tla le ahela mesebetsi kapa o tla bula monyetla wa hore le fumane mesebetsi. We must provide support to those who want to run their own businesses and remove many obstacles. Hona le ba bangata ba batlang ho isebeletsa, re tlamehile hore re ba thuse ba kgone ho aha di businesses tsa bona. And as we work towards growing an inclusive economy that provides more jobs and greater economic opportunities, we must continue to provide, yes, assistance to the unemployed. In building a society of equals, there can be no instruments more powerful than education. We've made enormous strides in securing the right of everyone to a basic education and to the progressive achievement of access to further education. We have achieved almost universal access to basic education, and we have massively increased access to higher education and training. But there is still much more that we must do to keep young people in school until matric, and to improve the quality and the relevance of what they learn. We must continue to focus expanding access to early childhood development and improve early grade reading. All children need this solid foundation to succeed in their lives. If we are to build a society of equals, we need to bridge the divide between men and women. Already we have made tremendous progress. In South Africa today, girls learn alongside boys in primary and secondary schools and receive equal education. Last year, more girls passed matric exams and got more distinction. Bona ba hlalefile ho feta bashimane. Re ntse re iponela. Ha o sheba hantle, bana ba fumanang di-distinction ke banana. Bashimane ba salla morao. A ke tsebe hore ba etswa keng, kapo ha ba ya sekolong bona ba etsa ntho tse ding kapo ba shebile ntho tse ding. Empa banyana ke bona ba tswellang pele. Re re a ba tswelle pele ka yona tsela eno. There are currently more female students enrolled in our universities and colleges than males. Close to half members of parliament and our judges, Libo Magistrata, are women. More than 60% of public servants in our government are women. And yet 3/4 of female-headed households live in poverty. Women are more likely to be unemployed than men, and on average, women earn less than men. Women, therefore, also do not get paid for caring for the elderly, for children and other family members. Ba tshwanetse hore ba lefiwe le bona ha ba ntse ba etsa mesebetsi ena. Ho ska ba ho shebilwe banna fela. In what has become a pandemic in our country, women are more vulnerable to violence and abuse at the hands of men. These are the challenges that we need to overcome by ensuring that girls and young women are able to complete their education and pursue their chosen careers by changing attitudes of men towards women in as far as improving the economic situation. There must be no position in society to which women cannot aspire to attain. All forms of discrimination and disadvantage. We must ensure that persons with disability are free and able to participate in every part of social and economic life. We must also confront the prejudice and ignorance, providing appropriate education and ensure equal access to persons with disabilities. The adoption of the South African Sign Language as the 12th official language reflects both our commitment and our ambition as a nation to improve the circumstances and the prospects of persons with disability. We must be proud that today we have the 12th language. Ya batho ba buang ho tshwana le meona o emeng haufi le nna. This, for us, was a great moment of broadening the rights of more and more South Africans. Now, if we are to build a South Africa of equals, a South Africa that belongs to all who live in it, we must end discrimination and intolerance directed to people because of their sexual orientation or gender identity. We must resist efforts of those who want to take us backwards, who express reactionary and hateful views towards members of the LGBTQIA+ community. Rather, we must foster a culture of understanding and acceptance. yana pula jwala. So qetellong he ke re tlameile hore the rights that we won as a result of the struggles of those who fought for our freedom must be rights that we will extend to all South Africans. And it also means for our struggle for justice must not only be limited to South Africa. Re tlameile hore re lwanele le ditokelo tsa bao ba ntse ba hlopheha le dinaheng tse ding. Ke bua batho ba Palestina ko Gaza kwana ba ntse ba bolawa ke ma-Israel. Le bona re tlameile hore re ba lwanele, re bontshe hore re batla hore le bona ba be le ditokelo. Rona kaofela re tsamaile leeto le letelele. Our respect for human rights, therefore, needs to be extended. But we still have a long way to go. And there's still much more to do before everyone can equally exercise the fundamental rights that our Constitution gives them. So on this Human Rights Day, we need to pledge, all of us as South Africans, and each one of us, that we will travel this road together. Many have traveled this road with us to achieve this freedom and to get the human rights that are set out in our Constitution. So kaofela rona, let us continue to be part of this journey of promoting the rights of all South Africans ba phela mona South Africa. Ka mantswe ano, ke re le pula ena e re nelang, a re amohele, re re pula nala. Ke a leboha le Modimo ka nnete wa re hlohonolofatsa ka hobane o re tlisetsa pula. Ke tokelo ya rona hore re fumane pula. A re leboheng. Amandla. Amandla. Forward with our government, forward. Ke a leboha.
Pula! Pula! Are you ready for my piano? Thank you very much. Are you ready for DJ Emo? Mama Nombuso Zwa. Umntwana wako Siamo is here. She's lost. Come uzotola umntwana wako mama. Thank you very much. Without any waste of time, we call on Councillor Lerato to come and give us a vote of thanks. Please, you may take your seats.
Thank you very much, Program Director, for this opportunity. And my special greetings to Your Excellency, President Cyril Ramaphosa, all ministers, deputy ministers present here, President wethu abomama halala, President halala, the Premier of Gauteng, and all the MECs, executive mayors, speakers, chief whips, MMCs, councillors present, Marana Arona, Really dumedisa. The families of survivors of the Sharpville massacre, our distinguished guests, le baahi kaofela ba Sedibeng ba Gauteng, dumelang. As we've gathered here today, following the program of the day as highlighted by the keynote address by the Honorable President of the Republic of South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa, and supported by all speakers of the day. Indeed, everything that has said here today is pretty much the execution of that fateful day in making a Sharpville a crime scene for all times. And in your narration or expression, you have managed to capture the hearts, the minds, and the soul of those families and the survivors as they replayed that they indeed saw that day through the mirror of their minds. It is through commemoration events like this that even those who were not there on that day are captured by the feelings of wonder and agony from the pain of loss that our people suffered. This is so true because it was 69 women lives, and that remains a human bond we have with families and survivors, and for a lifelong burden we share that we'll use amongst back here even as forever. To the many of us, this is a constant reminder for the heavy price that many in this country had paid for freedom. As Solomon Kalusha Mashangu once said, I quote, "Their blood nourished the tree that bore the fruits of 30 years of freedom." Having said that, on behalf of Sedibeng, our special thanks goes to the Honorable Premier of Gauteng, Nyaza Lusufi, for your strides to turn fortunes of our townships and municipalities around. If you are not the first, you will be the last premier who really take care of local government or understands the importance of this way of government. To Minister Zizigodwa, Minister Lamula, MEC Supi, and the ministers from South African Human Rights Commission for your continued support as Sharpville Human Rights Precinct will be a World Heritage Site. We can't wait for that, President. All key social partners such as Ahmed Kathrada Foundation, the NGO, the Kulumani Support Group, the National Heritage Council, and the faith-based organization for your efforts to making this event and the build-up events a success. And you also salute the beautiful citizens of Gauteng to taking time to be part of these events. Your support and efforts are not taken for granted. Please note that this coming Sunday, we will be celebrating in Sedibeng through the Department of Health, the World TB Day. As you are aware that Sedibeng, we are having challenges of our patients with TB. In conclusion, Program Director, thank you for your presence and wish you a safe travel during the Easter weekend and Holy Ramadan to Muslim, and don't forget to go out in your Thank you.